ground. That is what we're seeing on radar right now. We will continue to get some ground observations to see if that is in fact happening, but for now it's time to take action. When we see these types of signatures pop up, the National Weather Service go ahead and issues that warning, which means you need to take action. So if you are in Camilla or Shepherd, any of this area that is warned in this quad box right here in red, along 5969, even stretching towards Livingston, this warning is for you. It means you need to take action now, going to an interior space in your home, away from exterior walls and windows. So whatever home you can think of, whatever portion of the home that is more secured, be it a closet space or a bathroom, that's where you want to go so that you don't have anything that could immediately impact you. You also want to make sure you're not near any loose furniture or in the proximity of anything that could penetrate through a window or through a wall. So this is the area that will be impacted here in the next couple of minutes. Timing out the storm path at the rate that it's moving, 50 miles an hour towards the northeast. The areas that I will be watching really closely, Coldspring here in the next 6 minutes. The storm is expected to pass through you. Camilla in 2:24, so in just about 10 minutes. Goodrich just after that. So 2:31 is going to be the time frame that I watch for you. 2:36 Livingston and 2:40 Marston. We've got Chief Meteorologist David Paul that has got his hands on tracker right now. And David, what are you looking at?
Well, and just had an interesting update, Kim. We are getting reports of power outages, more than 26,000 now reporting power outages, and so that is an indication that indeed this storm might have produced a tornado that could have done some damage, including knocking out power. When we have these active tornado warnings, it's crucial to know if we are getting power outages. That is what storms do. They move along, they knock down those trees, knocks out power, and that gives us a good indication that indeed the storm is producing damaging wind or a tornado. Again, for the moment, it's radar indicated. This is the cell we're looking at. We'll zoom in. It's just south of Coldspring, right between FM 1725 and FM 2025. The storm is racing to the northeast at 35 to 40 miles an hour, racing in this direction. So Coldspring, Camilla, you're both in the path of this storm. So in the path of this storm, the place to go in your home, your business, your school, bottom floor, first floor, interior room, away from windows. You want to get away from the exterior walls. Move inside the building, deep inside as you can, away from the exterior windows and exterior walls. Those are most susceptible to damage if we're going to indeed see a tornado with this. And it also helps to protect you from any flying debris. Flying glass can be the biggest, one of the biggest dangers with these tornadic thunder showers. Now, this is the radar view. This is what the radar is seeing. What I want to do is we will go inside and look at what the storm looks like on Doppler. And this is a product that we call our velocity product. And what we're looking for, you can see right there, right in the middle, we have these cool colors here moving away from the radar site in League City. Hot colors here moving toward the radar site, and that is what indicates rotation right there. That's the Doppler part of Doppler radar. So right there, crossing over FM 2025, just south of Highway 150, San Jacinto County, this is moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. That's where, if we do indeed have a tornado, it's right there where I've marked the rotation. Let me clean that up a little bit and I'll show you. We'll draw that in again. So right where the hot and cool colors are coming together, the cool colors, the yellows, are moving away from the radar site. The radar site is down here in League City, and then we've got these bright colors moving toward the radar site. It's literally seeing the raindrops moving away or toward the radar site. Say that one more time. Okay, and that indicates where we've got rotation within the storm. And Pat Kavlin, just a little bit ago, you were looking at another product we use called correlation coefficient. This helps us find if there is actually any debris in the sky. And you weren't seeing any a little bit ago, which hopefully means that this hasn't produced. But again, we're getting reports of power outages up there.
Sorry, trying to save battery. You're right, Dave. We haven't seen anything on correlation coefficient, our debris detector, yet. That doesn't mean that things can change. Remember, this tornado-warned storm is very far away from our radar site, which is down in League City. So we're all the way up towards the East Tex Freeway with this storm in between Cleveland and Livingston, and we're trying to see the storm from League City. So there's a lot of stuff near the ground that we can't see very well, but the rotation is strong enough through the entire storm. That's what flagged them on putting this this warning into effect. So let's track this for you. Let's show you exactly where this storm is going. We are going to take this to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. This thing is moving at highway speed. We'll take it from that center point. We'll pull it out towards the north and east. This is a big list of places that this could be going to. So Coldspring 224, Goodrich 232, Livingston 237, and look at all these smaller communities in between. I mean, get a good look at this list. If you see an area that you're familiar with, an area that you live in, and it's in that list, right now is a time to get to shelter. I know it's 2:18, and the nearest time we've got on here is 2:23. You might think, we got 5 minutes. This storm is cranking. This thing is flying up parallel to the East Tex Freeway, and it's going to be on your doorstep faster than you think. So you want to make sure that you know exactly where to go. A lot of us don't have basements, so where do we go? We head off towards, this is confirmed now. So now we have the white box around this, David. We have a confirmed tornado. So they just changed this now. So we're watching this with you, same time on air, 2:19. We've got a confirmed tornado. That's what the white outline here in this box means. So now tornado warning still till 2:30. We'll see this if they extend this. This is near Coldspring right now. If you're watching, this is a confirmed, I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, 2:17, this was near Coldspring. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground. If you're just watching, 2:19, confirmed tornado on the ground. This is no longer a radar indicated cell. So Dave, that goes to confirm what you were just saying about the power outages. We were just reporting power outages up in this area. That was likely a result of this tornado being on the ground. So we've got confirmation. If you live anywhere here, I'm going to pull these locations up again. Let's re-rack. Let's get you in for a bit of a closer look. And we're going to take this box off. We're going to clean this screen up a little bit here. And we're going to draw this out to the north and east at 50 miles per hour. This gets to Livingston at 2:40. So 2:40, you got 20 minutes to get ready. So again, what I was just saying, a lot of us don't have basements. Where do we go? Interior rooms. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you've got bicycle helmets, motorcycle helmets, I know it might sound silly being inside your home. Put those on, grab those, find them. You've got 15, 20 minutes. Find them if they're in an easy to get to place. Put them on. That protects your head from any flying debris if this tornado were to go through where you live, God forbid. But again, this is on the ground. We are confirmed. We have confirmation that this storm is producing a tornado moving towards Goodrich at 2:34, Camilla at 2:27. So that's the next spot in the next 7 minutes. Camilla to 2:27, Goodrich 2:34, Livingston at 2:40. If it holds, it's a New Willard by 2:48, and then Seven Oaks by 2:52.
Hey, and Dave, Pat, what I've done is I've pulled up the correlation coefficient. So this is our debris detector. This is what the radar is looking inside the storm. It's looking at all the particles, the raindrops, and anything else that could be flying around in the sky. And it's trying to determine if we have something other than raindrops in the sky being picked up by that tornado. And we do. And if you look just right in this area, right here,
yeah,
that bright area. So what I'll do is we'll roll this back a little bit, and you can see it's a little ball. We have a little debris ball.
Right.
With this tornado. So indeed, confirmed tornado, and now radar showing indication that this is indeed picking up debris, tree limbs, shingles, any other small items that this tornado could pick up. And that's what the radar is picking up right there on your screen in that bright area. That's using a product called correlation coefficient. It filters out all the little meteors, the little raindrops that are all the same, and it finds areas where there are lots of different sized targets, like shingles or pieces of wood or broken branches or leaves, even dust. And that's what this is picking up. So again, this is helping the Weather Service confirm with us that indeed we do have a tornado, active tornado on the ground, just now pushed through Coldspring. And again, as Pat was mentioning, this is racing off to the northeast at about, we're at like 50 miles an hour now, Pat.
Yep.
So this is really racing. So folks in Livingston, you really only have a short amount of time, just a very few minutes to prepare for this. I'm going to put a storm track on this. I've got to update my speed here to 50 miles an hour. There's our debris ball racing northeast at 50. So Livingston to Seven Oaks and all neighborhoods in and around Livingston and Seven Oaks. That storm, this active tornado warning, is racing in your direction at 50 miles an hour. So reaching Livingston Municipal Airport here in just a couple of minutes at 2:26. Forecast to hit the Livingston area proper 2:31. Marston at 2:35, Leggett at 2:41, reaching Seven Oaks by 2:43. That's in 20 minutes from now. And then if it continues, reaching Barnes by 2:54. But yeah, go ahead, Pat.
I just want to read to you what the National Weather Service is saying. So this tornado was confirmed by trained spotters. So National Weather Service trained spotters actually observed this tornado on the ground. That's why they upgraded this to an observed tornado. And Dave, just to give you an idea, what you're showing there, and there's a lot of confusing colors on the screen for folks at home. What Dave is showing is just our debris detector. That is detecting debris from our National Weather Service radar in League City. Dave, that radar beam is looking about 6,500 to 7,000 feet up in the air, and it's seeing debris. Just to give you an idea of how strong this thing might be.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because as you get further away from the radar beam, the higher up in the sky we're looking. And this is indicating debris and other pieces of tree or roof or fence that have gone thousands of feet up into the air. And that could indicate a very strong tornado. But once again, active tornado warning. This storm is racing toward Livingston and Livingston Municipal Airport. It's going to be there in just about 2 minutes, Pat.
And Dave, check this out over here, just to the west of this. A tightening area here. I wonder if they're watching this. So, you know, folks, this is what we were mentioning the last 24, 36 hours, this time frame. It's a quick time frame. It's a small window of time. But from now until the time that squall line goes through, around 5 o'clock this evening, I think we're going to be busy here. We've got another cell, looks like it's tightening up just to the west. We'll keep an eye on that one. But Montgomery County, you've now been dropped from this warning just because the storm has moved out of that area. But still, Polk, San Jacinto counties, you're under the gun here, confirmed tornado on the ground. That's what the white box here means. Again, what we're showing you is not the radar that you're used to seeing on your phone. This is our rotation detection product. So we're able to actually kind of declutter the radar, look inside of it, and see which way the winds are moving. That's how we know the tornadoes are potentially within these storms. And it's really hard to see, but the point for this tornado is right where my finger is. Now just jump. Now, I got to also communicate to you, we're seeing this radar scan. The radar scans every 3 to 4 minutes. So in between these gaps, you know, okay, so we have a snapshot of the tornado here. The next scan we get, it could be up here. So that's why if you're just turning us on and you see, oh, it's down here, you know, I still got time. No, because the next scan, this could be pretty close to where you live. So again, Livingston area 238. So within the next 10 minutes, that's about how much time you have to get to safety. And Stu, you said we've got Kim now? All right, Kim Castro with the latest. We've got all three of us here again, all hands on tech, and we've got quite a bit of stuff starting to pop up on radar right now.
Yeah, Pat, and what you were saying is such an important thing to remember, that these storms are moving so quickly and they can fire up ahead of them. So just because right now this is the warned area doesn't mean that spots out ahead of it and spots behind it could start to get new warnings as that main line starts to approach. This is the window of the most unsettled, most rotational component that we'll see throughout the day. So storms that start to see rotation, cyclonic shear is what we're going to be watching throughout the afternoon. So right now, the warning, the area that really needs to take action, these 2,500 people in Polk County and in San Jacinto County too. So right now it is exiting San Jacinto and headed towards Polk. And for the time being, the main area of concern is going to be just east of Coldspring in Goodrich, and then up next will be Livingston. I know we've been talking about the correlation coefficient, and again, this is a signature that allows us to determine whether or not there is flying debris. And because this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, we will be expecting some different debris fields to be pushing into your home. So just be mindful that this area pushing into Livingston and then Seven Oaks over the next couple of minutes will be spots that we need to take action immediately. So If this storm holds together, we will be watching areas beyond Livingston. So 7 Oaks just after 2:40, so 2:53. Moscow just before 3 o'clock, and then Corrigan and then Chester after that. So these will be spots that will need to take action quickly because, again, Dave, these storms are moving fast, 50 miles an hour to the northeast. That doesn't give a lot of heads up.
You made a good point, Kim. This line, as it pushes in from the west, this is the time where we're going to have most of the focus and the greatest threat for severe storms. I'm drawing a lot. That's the line of thunderstorms right there. That's racing east, and out ahead of it, we've got a lot of lift and instability, and that's why we're getting these storms strengthening right now. I do want to pass on Texas Parks and Wildlife tells us that people at Lake Livingston are sheltering in place across Lake Livingston. These storms can be particularly dangerous over open water. There's just nothing to slow the wind down, and of course boaters over open water of Lake Livingston, very, very dangerous. So again, Texas Parks and Wildlife has alerted the folks on Lake Livingston. They are sheltering in place. This is where our active tornado warning is. The storm right near Coldspring. It is racing to the east, northeast at about 50 miles an hour. That's the storm we're looking at right there. Again, this is racing off to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. Let's update this, and I'll put a fresh storm track on this. And once again, this has been confirmed not only by radar showing debris flying in the air, but also trained storm spotters actually spotted a tornado with that cell. There's our cell racing northeast at 50 miles an hour. So folks in the path of this storm, everybody who hears your name, you need to take cover. First floor, bottom floor of your business, your interior room of your home. Livingston, it's basically on top of you just about in the next 5 minutes. New Willard reaching you by 2:46. 7 Oaks by 2:51, Moscow by 2:57, Barnes by 3:01, Chester by 3:08, and again 3:18 reaching Calms. You'll have to help me with the pronunciation of that one, on the northeast side. Livingston again in just a couple of minutes. And what you're seeing here, we've got another box lighting up, and notice the white outline. They're about to they're replacing the old tornado warning with now an updated tornado warning. So this new warning, again, for the same cell. And what I do want to do is take a look inside the system, and we'll take a look at the rotational components of this. Doppler radar allows us to look inside to see, what's actually happening. Is there rotation? And that's the beauty of Doppler radar. So let's pull up the velocity scope. There it is. We'll zoom in on this. And right here where you've got these hot orange colors and the cooler yellow colors coming together, that's where we have our rotation. It's just north and east of KHOU, racing to the northeast at 50. This is in effect until 2:45, but that tornado, that rotation itself won't sit in the same place. It is going to be racing to the north and east. So folks, up and down FM 1988, you need to take cover, interior room, away from windows, first floor of your home or business, away from exterior walls. That's the safest place to be in a tornado. And let me just update the track on this once again. So who's in the path of this storm? Everybody to the north and east of KHOU. And real quickly, we'll refresh this track. Tornado right here, racing northeast at 50. So this reaches Livingston in just about 8 minutes at 2:39. By 2:43, reaching Martinson. By 2:49, Leggett. Ollie by 2:51, Hortense Church by 2:57. Now, Kim Castro, this is interesting. This storm now has held together for a good 15, 20 minutes now, indicating that it's very well organized, and this one may be able to track and continue to produce possible damage for quite a while.
Yeah, that's the part that is actually most concerning, is sometimes when we start to see these signatures on radar, we see that they become a little bit muddled, they land on the ground, we have a confirmed tornado, but then they lift up back into the sky. We are not seeing that now. We're seeing a confirmed tornado that's continuing to show signs that it is on the ground by spotters. We've been seeing that not only confirmed on our side of things, but out in the field as well. So right now, people impacted 6,400. This is from San Jacinto into Polk County. So the areas affected right now, Livingston and Goodrich, and this will continue to push towards the northeast. So traveling up 59, 69, Seven Oaks to Chester, those are the spots that need to take action immediately. So what do you need to do in this scenario? You need to get to the lowest level of your home. You need to make sure that you're trying to get away from exterior walls and windows so you are not the first line of attack, so you have a defense around you. That means find a room as close to the center of your home as possible. It doesn't have to be a bedroom. This could be a closet. This could be a bathroom. This could be even inside of a bathtub. Just an area that could protect you and reinforce you from the exterior space that will become subject to those very, very strong, violent, rotating winds. So you want to be away from exterior walls and windows, as we are under an active tornado warning until 2:45 this afternoon. Now, we saw this again reissued. The last tornado warning we just had was set to expire at 2:30. So because these warnings are continuing to be reissued, I want you to keep your guard up no matter where in Polk County you are. So not just this quadrant there in Livingston, but beyond that, because this cell is showing good composure and rotational characteristics that could redevelop as we go over the next few minutes. Now, we have a watch for tornadoes until 9 o'clock this evening. And so we are going to be watching inside of these cells very closely, not just through this tornado warning, but through the evening. And this does include all of southeast Texas. So I know we've got our focus right now on this active tornado warning for Goodrich to Livingston, but the main line of storms could have this same exact effect of rotating couplets in any of the storms that develop. Pat, what are you looking at?
Yeah, and Kim, that one that's right to the west of it, you see that other bright spot?
Oh yeah, that's another
that one.
big
That's
couplet.
the one. That's the one I pointed out to David earlier. Just spoke to the National Weather Service on that. They're waiting for one more scan to come
there
in.
it is.
There it is. Okay,
Active
so
tornado
we've
warning.
got the tornado warning on that right now. So let's get you caught up on that. We'll come to my screen. We've got 2 active tornado warnings right now. One's confirmed on the ground. One was actually seen by spotters. The other one, we're waiting on confirmation for that. That is going to be until 3:15. So the first one that we're watching, that's extended till 2:45. The next one, a couple miles to the west, this is for Polk and San Jacinto as well. That goes till 3:15. So let's get you in for just a closer look here. These are the 2 warn cells that we've got on the map right now. Again, 2 tornado warnings. There we go. So one coming into Livingston. Again, you're watching us from Livingston. Got to be in the safe spot. Turn the volume up on the TV. Do whatever you got to do. Leave us behind. Go into a safe spot, an interior room, away from windows, away from the outdoors. The next storm, Stephen Creek, coming towards Lake Livingston. If you live anywhere around Lake Livingston, you got to be in an interior room, interior shelter right now. This storm is moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Let's track it for you. We'll show you exactly where this thing is going. Fortunately, part of its time is going to be spent over the lake. I'm going to have to redraw this. Hold on. Okay, so we'll do our drawing here, and we'll take it out towards the north and east. Okay, so Stephen Creek, we're pretty much right on top of you right now, right? 236, it's 235. Blanchard by 244. So once this gets on the other side of the lake, expecting this in Blanchard by 244, 245, and then West Tempe by 246. So it's going to take about 10 minutes for this cell to cross over Lake Livingston. Keep that in the back of your mind, right? So the storm is coming towards the western lake shore of Lake Livingston right now. About 10 minutes to cross. It'll transition to a waterspout if it's actually producing something right now, and then it comes back over land as a tornado. Doesn't change anything about it. It's still a very dangerous storm. Let's get you back to the rest of the area just very quickly to show you what else is going on, because things are starting to pick up in intensity. We're starting to see more activity on radar. We're really watching, I'm watching this storm over here. This is coming into northwestern portions of Montgomery County. We'll get you in for a little bit of a closer look here. This cell here would not be surprised to see some rotation with that as well. And then this is the cold front back here. So this is starting to push into the area. That's providing a lot of extra lift to the atmosphere. So while things have been quiet in terms of severe weather so far this morning, I think things are really going to start to ramp up as we go through the next few hours, Dave.
Yeah, they're getting busy out there, and now with 2 active tornado warnings. Now, as we have 2 active warnings, they are actually two different types of warning. You can see as you look at the screen, we have one tornado warning for the cell right over Livingston outlined in white. When we outline it in white, that means we have a confirmed tornado. This is producing a tornado. There is an active tornado near the ground or on the ground in the Livingston area right now. And in Livingston, you need to be taking cover immediately, right now, first floor of your home, away from windows. The other tornado warning is the red box. Now, the red outline box means it is radar indicated. It means that radar has looked inside the storm. We can see the rotation, but at the moment, we have not had either someone see the tornado to confirm it, a trained storm spotter, or we're not seeing debris showing up on our debris detector on radar. So for the moment, it's radar indicated. It means there could very well be an active tornado there, but we haven't confirmed that it actually is producing a tornado. The one on the white, outlined in white, that one is confirmed. We have an active tornado in progress right over the heart of the Livingston area right now. So folks, at the corner of 59 and Highway 190, you need to be taking cover immediately right now. And let me put a storm track on this so we can see exactly where this is going. We'll start with the active tornado. That is the one outlined in white. These storms are racing northeast. I mean, they're racing at 50 miles an hour. So there's your rotation right over Livingston now. Storm racing northeast at 50. These are the areas in the path of this storm. First Baptist Church, 240. That's going to be in Polk County. Martinson by 241. Reaching Ollie by 249. Barnes by 259. And Barnum by 304. Those are the areas in the path of that active tornado warning where we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. Now, for the cell that is producing a radar indicated tornado, this is moving over the central portion of Lake Livingston. Folks in Onalaska and near Onalaska, that part of the lake, you need to be hunkered down, leave your TV, go into an interior closet, go into an interior room of your home, an interior bathroom away from windows and away from exterior walls. That's where you want to be. We'll put a storm track on tornado warning number 2 for radar indicated tornado racing northeast. Again, these storms racing northeast at 50 miles an hour, reaching Onalaska by 2:44. So in just a couple of minutes, the cell will race over the community of Onalaska on the north side of Lake Livingston. Tin Top Church by 2:45, Rocky Ford School by 2:49, Colita Church by 2:52, and reaching Camerona by 3:02. So everyone who I'm naming, all of you in the path of both of these tornado warned thunderstorms, need to take cover on the first floor, move to an interior room of your home or business away from windows and away from exterior walls. If a tree comes down, it's most likely to do damage on an exterior wall. That's why we want to move you further inside that home or business so you have more structure, more of the framework of the business or home around you so that tree, if it does fall, can't get to you. And as Pat mentioned just a little bit ago, this is just the beginning of things really starting to ramp up. So that's the latest on our 2 active tornado warnings. We also have more thunderstorms developing behind this, and these are both showing signs of rotation. I do want to look at a couple of these real quick. This one moving over the west side of Lake Conroe. This is just west of FM 149, just south of Dacus. What I'll do is we'll turn on the velocity meter. I'm not seeing anything that looks too terribly strong as far as rotation, but we'll keep a very close eye on that. We'll go back to the radar, and that's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not seeing a hook echo there either, so at the moment that one remains unwarned. And also look at what is developing back here toward Navasota. So Navasota, this is heavy rain and thunder, nothing overly organized there yet, but we continue to see storms back to the south and west develop. More rain and thunder now developing in Harris County, southeast Harris County, Baytown and Mont Belvieu, East Haven, thunderstorms there, no rotation showing. A couple of storms popping up right inside the Beltway and the 610 loop here in Houston, not showing signs of becoming severe. There is a line of thunderstorms just off to our north and west, and this is going to be right along the actual frontal boundary. There's the front. And as this front collides with this air out ahead of it, this warm, humid air ahead of it, that's what's causing things to suddenly ramp up. And that lift, adding to that rotation at mid-levels, that's what's causing some of these storms to become severe. Let's take a closer look at our tornado warnings and go over again where the immediate tornado threat is. And that's moving out of San Jacinto County, and moving into Polk County. There are 2 warnings here. The one outlined in white, that's the one where we have a confirmed tornado. This has been cited by trained storm spotters actually seeing the tornado, and we've got reports of power outages, and our debris detector in the radar also showing debris flying from the tornado, picking that up and spewing it around in the sky. The one that's outlined in red, that is a tornado warning, but it's radar indicated, so we have not yet confirmed that has actually produced a tornado. We're seeing rotation inside that storm. In fact, I can show it to you. There's the couplet. So the couplet is where you've got the yellow and the red coming together really tightly just north of Stephen Creek, crossing over the north end of Lake Livingston. Here's your rotation right there. Holiday Villages on the west side of the Lake Livingston, you're just seeing that storm exit. It's going to pass just to the north of Blanchard. Folks in Onalaska, you can see how close this is going to pass by you. In Onalaska, you need to be taking cover immediately, right now, in an interior room of your home, away from windows. If you're caught outside, shelter in place on any type of shelter that you can find. The best place to be is in a home with a slab, a business with a slab, interior room away from windows. So Onalaska, north side of Lake Livingston, that's the radar indicator. And you can see we just had a frame update here. So I'm going to just move our rotation. There's the rotation right there. So it may pass just south of Onalaska, but it's very close. And that is a very well-defined couplet. Bright yellow and bright red coming together like that, especially with the radar being so far away. That's about 1,000 feet up in the air. That indicates quite a well-defined rotation. At the moment, it is still a radar-indicated tornado. The tornado warning is outlined in red, but I would not be surprised if they confirm this. So Kim Castro, boy, this is just about the time when really for the past couple of days we thought we might see the atmosphere really start to erupt, and it's happening here right on schedule.
It is, and this is not a confirmed tornado. However, boots on the ground for Outers Marina right along Lake Livingston have given us reports that they are seeing a waterspout along there. So eyes on the ground confirming what we're seeing on radar as well. We also got another update from the Polk County Sheriff's Office. No injuries reported thus far, and we want to keep it that way. So we want to make sure we're letting you know what to do in this scenario. Yes, there's an active warning, and you know the spots to look out for. Pretty much all of Polk County needs to be on high alert. What do? Get to the lowest level of your home and make sure you get to an interior space within that home. You do not want to be in the outskirts where you could be impacted by that first line of strong wind. So find the central portion of your home. This could be a closet, this could be a bathroom. It doesn't have to be a bedroom. You just want to make sure you are not the first line of attack from any flying debris or anything that might be flown at you with these high rates of wind. Now, KHOU is your bilingual weather station, and we are here to warn you in both languages. So I want to make sure for my Spanish-speaking folk that are receiving this warning, they know exactly what to do. Tenemos un aviso de una tornado, y eso significa que ese tornado está sucediendo ahorita mismo en el condado de Polk County. ¿Qué necesita hacer? Necesita irse al piso más bajo de su hogar. Eso significa que necesita entrarse al lugar más central también. Entonces el piso más bajo y el lugar más central de su casa para que usted no tenga que estar en peligro en alrededor de su casa, en esas paredes y esas ventanas que están afuera. ¿Por qué les aviso que tienen que hacer eso? Si es que tenemos un tornado que está pasando por su casa, va a causar que esos vientos agresivos rompan esas ventanas y rompan esos lugares que puedan infiltrar a su casa. Entonces tienen que entrar a un lugar más central de su hogar para que no estén en peligro de esas ventanas y esas paredes al exterior. Tienen que irse al piso más bajo de su casa. Tenemos dos avisos por tornados ahorita mismo. Uno, que hemos recibido reportajes que de hecho está en el piso y está afectando estos lugares. Comorona, a las 3:09, a las 3:15, Corrigan, y a las 3:21, Wakefield. We've got team coverage with our chief meteorologist, David Paul, that's keeping an eye on how these storms are developing. And what's the latest, Dave?
I want to reiterate what you said, Kim. So we have folks that have spotted a waterspout over Lake Livingston as this cell, I'll circle it for you, as this one moved across the lake. So it's not official storm spotters, but general public is reporting that they did see a waterspout, a tornado over water as that moved across the lake. So we can almost confirm that that cell near Onalaska is now producing an active tornado. This is our other active tornado warning. We had an update on this. I'm going to give the update here in just a second. I do want to draw your attention to the left side of the screen here. I'll move it a little bit. This cell near Oakhurst, and Pat Kavlin just walked by me here and said, look at Oakhurst. So that right there, we may have a new cell near Oakhurst, just east of Huntsville in Walker County, that is attempting to rotate. I'm going to clean this up. We'll take a closer look at this, and we'll also give you a little better look at, in fact, Pat, are you ready? Can you give me that update on the new tornado warning that's just come out?
Sure. Okay, so the one for San Jacinto County, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the one that's now moved into Polk County, the one that moved across Livingston. So that one appears to have just updated it with a new update for the same cell.
Yes, I see that here.
It's this one right here. So they've updated that. That's an updated tornado warning. It's a new tornado warning, but it's for the same cell, the same active tornado warning just northeast of Livingston that continues to race northeast. This is the cell near Onalaska right here. And then we also have, and then this one near Oakhurst is the one I'm now very curious to see if they end up warning for this one, Pat.
I was too. So, you know, I just pointed this one out to you here along Highway 190, right outside of Oakhurst. These are moving towards the north and east, so I think Oakhurst proper would be okay. But if you're in that area, just heads up, I would probably get inside to an interior structure. I mentioned this about the waterspout thing, though, when we were tracking this on the western lake shore of Lake Livingston, if you remember. So, you know, it sounds like we've confirmed at least a waterspout from this. It'll be interesting to see if they update this to a confirmed tornado once it gets back over land. But notice what's happening here on the radar image. We're adding more colors now. Now we've got purple starting to show up. And you might be saying, well, what does that mean? So what happens when you get so far away from the radar site is the radar can only do so much, right? It's got limitations like the rest of us. So we start to lose data as you get this far away. And that's what you're seeing here, this range ring on the radar, right? So it's called range folding. We start to lose data. But because we have trained National Weather Service spotters on the ground, we know that that had produced a tornado, and we're still treating it as a storm that is producing a tornado, which is why that box is still white. That means that it is an indicated, observed tornado on the ground. This is still a red box because we don't have confirmation of this actually being a tornado. We've gotten a few reports possibly of a waterspout being produced here somewhere over Lake Livingston. If we can confirm that that maintained, you know, its presence on the ground, moving over land, then it becomes a tornado, then it's confirmed on the ground, then that box will change over to white. So those are the two active warnings we're watching. And the Oakhurst one, you could just see it there sneaking underneath that range ring. And then another area down here. So what we're looking for when we show you these maps, we're looking for brighter spots on the map, right? So we had these two brighter spots when they were closer to the radar. Here's another one. And then there's another one just north of New Waverly. So they just extended this tornado warning. This is brand new. Notice no white box around it, which means it's not confirmed. That's in effect until, let's see, that goes in effect until 2:45. No, that's, sorry folks, bear with me, 3:15. So this one here, this big box up here, which includes Seven Oaks and the East Tex Freeway, that is in effect until 3:15. So we've got 3:30 now, excuse me. So they've extended that, but again, no white box around it, so we don't have a confirmation that it's on the ground yet, but it has a history of making it to the ground over water as a waterspout. A waterspout is just a tornado over water. It's the same thing. So we got to keep a very close eye on that cell as it starts to move up towards the Seven Oaks area. And again, still watching this cell here just to the east of Livingston. We're also watching this bright spot on the map. This is just to the west of Point Blank, and then just to the north of New Waverly, another area. So that's what I was just trying to tell you before. When we look at these maps, we look for these areas of contrast, a really dark area next to a really bright area. So we've got one here, we've got one up towards Point Blank, and then these two, they looked more like that as they were closer to the radar, but as they move away, we start to lose the data on that. So it's 2:51 if you're just joining us. A very active afternoon is shaping up here across Southeast Texas. We've been talking about the potential for tornadoes and for severe weather over the last few days, and now we're starting to see that ramp up across the area. And this isn't even the main line, Dave, which is still back to the west. And I have a feeling that as that line gets closer, especially if you have a chance while you're on, take a look at the storm that's coming in towards Colorado County.
Yeah, let me take a look at all of that. What I want to do is let me put a timeline on all these the 2 active tornado warnings, and then let's zoom out. And even before I do that, so we just did get an update from Livingston ISD. They are holding students. They're keeping students. They're not dismissing students in these storms. They're just keeping them safe at school for now. That's in Livingston ISD. They're telling us that they are holding dismissal. They're not going to dismiss anybody. No students are being dismissed. They're keeping them safe inside the school building, which is exactly what they should be doing. That is the safest thing to do when you have active storms like this, tornado warnings moving overhead. Just keep the kids in that school building and let the storm pass on by. I'm going to go back to the radar view, and we'll put a storm track on these so everybody can see who's in the path. 2 active tornado warnings, one in white, one in red. The one in white is a confirmed tornado. The one in red is a radar indicated tornado. The cells themselves are racing northeast at about 50 miles an hour. And so for storm number 1 here, just south of Seven Oaks, racing northeast, these are the places in the path of this active tornado warning. Barnes, it reaches you by 3:01 in about 6 minutes. Reaches Darden Palestine School 3:05. Reaches Chester by 3:08. Reaches a historical monument site of Fort Tarrant by 3:20. Reaches Dolan by 3:26. Vernon School by 3:30. And Zavalia by 3:30 as well. So the storm racing northeast. So folks, Darden Palestine School, you're in the path of this storm. It is racing in your direction. You really just have a few minutes to take action, and you need to just get everybody inside first floor of the building you're in, away from windows, away from exterior walls. That's the safest place to be. That's for our active tornado warning, one that we know is producing a tornado. The other one outlined in red is a radar indicated tornado warning. For this cell, racing, it's just about to pass by Seven Oaks. It's heading right toward Corrigan. So let's see, Moscow, it reaches you by 3:09, reaches Corrigan by 3:13, Corrigan Camden High School by 3:13. So folks at Camden High School in Corrigan, just stay put. Just stay put. It's going to race past you around 3:13. Let it go through before you try to get out and let school out. Keep the kids in those buildings and keep them safe. Interior rooms away from the exterior walls. That's the safest place to be. Reaches Wakefield by 3:20. Reaches Wheeler Church by 3:21. Diboll by 3:28. Angelina County by 3:32. So both of these now racing through Polk County, racing northeast, or heading toward the north and northeast part of Polk County now. So those are the 2 active systems we have in progress. But as Pat pointed out, there are some other spots that we are watching, and they're now coalescing with the main line. So what I'll do is I'll kind of rock this back and forth. You can see how the line, look to the left-hand side of your screen. There's the line. That's the actual cold front with this system that is now pushing into our northern counties here in southeast Texas and the western counties. And look at how as that pushes into our atmosphere here, it really erupts these thunderstorms, and so they're really getting strong right now. This is a spot we're paying close attention to. Moving into southern Walker County, we can take a look at our velocity scan. Yeah, I'm not seeing any couplets that just jump out at me, but there is possibly a little bit of rotation near New Waverly, actually on both sides of New Waverly, both sides of I-45 in Walker County. So those are 2 more suspicious spots that we're going to continue to keep our eye on as they race northeast. The further northeast they go, the more of a volatile atmosphere that they are moving into. So those are 2 other spots that we are watching carefully, and there's another one that we also have our eye on. Yeah, this spot down here, just portions of northern Grimes County. It hasn't really organized yet, but this is along the leading edge of that frontal boundary that, as you can see as I rock this back and forth, is racing into our western and northwest counties, and it's along that front where we may see more really explosive development. Kim Castro, you and I and Pat have been watching this now for several hours, It's interesting. This really has erupted right at the time in the afternoon here when we expected most of that energy would be tapped as the front comes in.
That's right, and all the signs were there. We were watching those clouds break, we were getting those peaks of sunshine, and we knew that these storms would have a lot of fuel, especially just ahead of this main line. And so I want to talk about those warnings, and I want to make sure that folks are able to get the information that they need, especially if they have any relatives, any elderly folks, their parents that live along 5969 pushing towards San Jacinto in Polk County. Or perhaps you're listening now and you prefer to speak in Spanish. I want to give you these warnings in the language that is most comfortable for you so you can make those necessary precautions and adjustments in order to keep yourself safe. Tenemos dos advertencias y dos avisos por unos tornados que al momento están por las ciudades Livingston y van avanzando a los lugares a lo largo de la carretera interestatal 59. Two active tornado warnings. One is a confirmed tornado, el tornado que ya hemos recibido confirmación que está en nuestras comunidades es este que tiene este borde blanco y eso está afectando unas 6,000 personas y continúa avanzando muy rápidamente a lo largo del condado de Polk. Está avanzando a 50 millas por hora. The areas that are going to be impacted with this new storm system, this new tornado warning that we have are these as follow. Tenemos otro aviso por tornados que está afectando estas comunidades dentro de los próximos 10, 20 y 30 minutos. Entonces a las 3:09 la comunidad de Cormana va a estar impactada. Eso significa que si es que usted vive en estos lugares, tiene que irse al lado más central de su casa, aléjese de las ventanas y aléjese de esas paredes al exterior. Corrigan, 3:14, a las 3:21 Wakefield y Wheeler Church a las 3:22. For this other area, este otro aviso de tornado que está confirmado, estas son las áreas que tienen que tomar esas precauciones de irse al lugar central de su casa. A las 3:04 Barnes, Darden Palestine School a las 3:09. Las buenas noticias que las escuelas nos han avisado que van a permanecer dentro de las clases. Esos estudiantes no se van a irse a sus casas, van a estar seguros dentro de la escuela. Chester a las 3:11, a las 3:29 Dolan, Vernon School a las 3:33 y Zavala a las 3:34. ¿Qué tiene que hacer usted? Nuevamente, si es que usted está viendo y vive en esos lugares, por favor váyase al piso más bajo. Si es que tiene unos familiares, unos padres que viven en estos lugares, por favor llámeslo y díganle estas advertencias, que vayan al piso más bajo y se encuentren en un sitio bien central, que está afuera de esas paredes y afuera de esas ventanas exteriores. No queremos que estén así apegados a esas ventanas porque podremos ver que esos vientos rompen esas ventanas y también pueden causar que ese vidrio entre a la casa y afecta a sus familiares. So again, I want to give this warning in Spanish and in English because we have a lot of relatives that are bilingual. Some of them prefer to have their information said to them in Spanish, not because they don't understand English, but because it resonates better, and we want to make sure that they take action quickly, especially in a situation where we're seeing active tornado warnings across our northeastern cities and counties. So make sure, if you prefer it in English, get to the lowest level of your home. Make sure you're in a central location away from walls and windows. Pat, we are seeing that these tornadoes are holding together. One is confirmed and one is radar indicated at the moment. Any new developments?
Okay, so that's right. We do have still those two tornado warnings. Brand new now, a severe thunderstorm warning. This is a lot of stuff going on here, so we're going to walk you through it. This was the confirmed tornado. This is about to leave our viewing area in Polk County. Next one, tornado warning here. This goes till 3:30. This is about to pass just to the west of Seven Oaks and cross over the East Tex Freeway to the south of Corrigan. If you live anywhere between Seven Oaks and Corrigan, now is the time to be in that interior room, ground floor, and if you have one, a storm shelter or a basement. But again, most of us just dealing with one-floor homes here. And now finally, severe thunderstorm warning. This is in effect back down towards the south and west. This is to the west of Lake Livingston. and that is in effect until 3:30 as well. And with this, we could see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and the potential even for some penny-sized hail. So there's a better look of it. So there's I-45, New Waverly down here around where my finger is, and so going north of New Waverly into Walker County to the south of Huntsville, a really nasty cell there. There is a little bit of rotation with this storm. They opted for the severe thunderstorm warning on this, but like everything else that's popping up right now, it's going to have to be watched very carefully. Finally, I want to bring us down towards Colorado County because we've got the worst part of that line starting to enter our area right now. In fact, the radar's getting very busy. So we've got our first batch of severe weather pushing off towards the north and west. Feisty storms here on the southeast side of the city down towards places like Pasadena and Deer Park. You're not under a warning at the moment. But let's get you over to Colorado County because I think this is going to be our next hotspot here. This actually had a severe thunderstorm warning on it as it was coming out of San Antonio. It's held together fairly well, although now it's starting to get ingested into the line here. But along I-10 into Columbus and then eventually into Austin County getting towards Sealy, this is going to be the next stop for this line. So we'll switch over to our velocity detector to see. And notice we got areas of red and green touching here. It's not tight rotation, it's broad rotation. That's why there's no warning with it right now. But this is going to be the next area to watch here as we go through the next hour. And why is that? Because as we widen out, you could see this is actually in line with the city of Houston. So we got a long way to go with our severe weather potential as we go through the rest of the afternoon. Our first batch moving to the north and west, and we've got a big, strong line of storms to our west that still has to tap into a very favorable atmosphere and environment, not just for damaging wind gusts and hail, but also for tornadoes. Remember, a lot of these areas here haven't seen widespread rain in several hours. We've even got some breaks of sunshine, so there's a lot of fuel down in this part of the of southeast Texas. But again, to reiterate, we've got a tornado warning, 2 tornado warnings still in effect up towards Polk County, just to the north and west of Lake Livingston. So here's Lake Livingston, severe thunderstorm warning to the west, and then 2 twin tornado warnings paralleling each other, one getting into Corrigan right now, the other now just getting trimmed back here, but still in effect for extreme northeastern portions of Polk County as we get into the next 25 to 30 minutes. So we got a lot on our hands right now, Dave. Hold on. There we go, Dave. Go ahead.
You mentioned the activity possible to our west. We're watching those storms coming into Colorado County and even Wharton County. I wanted to quickly just show you why we're looking at that and why Pat's been pointing that out. It is because if you just simply look at the temperature map, look where all the energy is. Columbus is at 75, Wharton's in the 70s, Sugar Land's in the 70s, Bush Continental Airport in the 70s, Pearland's in the 70s. It has warmed up, and that warm air has more energy in it. It is much more buoyant. It can lift at a much more higher velocity, and these are all ingredients to allow the atmosphere to become what we call conditionally unstable.
And a lot of spin too.
Yeah.
And that's the concern. You know, it's not just the energy there, it's not just the lifting, it's the spin. And that's why the tornado threat is just so pronounced today. And you can see that there on the map.
Hold on just a second.
Sure.
Hold on just a second. So Pat, so Rick Davis with the Trinity River Authority, he is on the phone with us right now. And Rick, you spotted this tornado as it was moving over Lake Livingston. Is that right?
Well, I don't know if it was the actual tornado. We did have a waterspout come over the south end of the lake. We didn't see anything actually on land, but it was a pretty good waterspout that come across the lake. About the time that all the warnings hit, it was about 2:35, 2:40, somewhere around in that area.
That sounds like it was part of that active tornado warning. Rick, did you see any damage? Are you okay? Did you see any tree or debris associated with that rotation?
Not really associated with the rotation. Of course, it stayed out in the main part of the lake, and then by the time it got to shore, it was really out of our line of sight. We had some debris around more from the straight line winds because we had probably 35, 40 mile an hour straight line winds come across the lake here. But really, we saw minimal debris damage right where we were. There may be some other folks that weren't so lucky, but right here on our corner of the lake, we were still pretty good.
Is your power still on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, you know, Rick, first of all, thank you for the report. That helps because, Pat, if you heard what Rick was saying, he saw a waterspout over the lake. but it didn't see any doing any damage. It may be that this tornado, although it was confirmed, was a small tornado, and that would be great news.
Well, and hopefully once it hit land, you know, the interaction there with the friction kind of disrupted the flow. That warning is still in effect, though, but they're probably just going to let it expire once it moves out of Polk County there.
So, Rick, thank you so much for the update. Spotted a waterspout over the south side of Lake Livingston a little while ago as that warned cell was going across, but did not see any damage. Thank you, Rick. Also, another note on Livingston. So, Livingston ISD was holding kids in school. They weren't releasing them at their normal time to let the storm pass through. Now that the storm has passed, Livingston ISD is allowing kids to be released to go home from school. So they waited, they did the right thing, and now Livingston ISD, the kids are able to go home. Also, our weather tracker, we are en route. We've passed through the Cleveland area now, racing up 59. We're heading to the Livingston area as well. We're hoping to get some eyeballs on the ground. That is live. That is our weather tracker on 5969, racing northeast. We're heading up toward the Livingston area. If there is any damage, anyone who needs help, we're going to be up there to take a look at that and bring that information to you. The map I'm looking at right now, so this is from the Storm Prediction Center. They've outlined where they think it's most likely we would see a tornado, and that has happened exactly in the hash marked yellow area where they outlined it. But notice where it is. They think that most of that energy for tornadic activity will be to the north and east. So far, that's exactly where we have seen the warned thunderstorms, the tornado warnings up in Polk and San Jacinto County. And as I go back to radar, we'll take a look at where the active storms are now. I point that out because, you know, Pat and I were also looking at a cell here in Columbus. This one is strong. It had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier for it, but it is not warned right now. It's part of the line now, racing northeast, heavy rain and thunder, but at the moment, that cell is not warned. We'll keep a very close eye on that moving forward. Again, our active tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, both of the two active tornado warnings are here. They are up in Polk County near Corrigan, and one of them is about to pass out of Polk County. And also, still, that they have now downgraded that to just a radar indicated tornado, no longer an active tornado. The other yellow box that you're seeing right here, that is in Walker County. That is not a tornado warning. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got heavy lightning and thunder. We have the potential for, you know, quarter-size hail. We have the potential for winds out of this up to 57 miles an hour or above. So from Huntsville to New Waverly to Oakhurst, that's where the strongest weather is right now. That's where you need to make sure you're taking cover from strong weather, but no tornado warning there. And at the moment, I can put up the velocity track, and I'm not, you know, Pat, we saw some little couplets trying to form here from New Waverly to Oakhurst, but as I look now at the velocity indicator, it's not showing any strong signs of any couplets forming right now.
No, it's it's not as clear as it was earlier, and you can see it. I mean, it's literally starting to get ingested here into the line, and once that happens, there's more linear mechanisms that are at work in the atmosphere to kind of make damaging winds and hail as the primary threats with these storms. That being said, we're going to see some pretty wicked storms coming into the area as we go through the next few hours. So here's our cold front. Back to the west, right? So this is what's forcing all of these storms to kind of line up. You know, the storms have had their fun here in the warm and humid air mass, but now it's time to sweep all of this out of here. And that happens in a big sweeping motion with that cold front. Also down here in southeastern portions of Harris County. Check this out. Tons of rain. A couple of thunder and lightning strikes as well, but I don't believe we're seeing anything in terms of severe potential with any rotation. And we switch over to our velocity product. The only spot that I would keep an eye on is out towards Channelview. Again, some brighter colors there, but nothing really well defined at this point. So we'll keep an eye on this batch, but right now it's just torrential rainfall, couple lightning strikes there along I-10, again through the Channelview area. One lightning strike there getting right out of downtown down the Gulf Freeway here. It's going to be a rough ride along the Gulf Freeway as we go through probably the next hour or two, and then it's a really rough ride later on this evening as we deal with the evening commute. So just very quickly here, let's re-rack. Let's take a look at what's going on. I'll move the computer out of the way. We've got our tornado warned storm. This was the one that was confirmed. That's now out of our viewing area, so we're not concerned about that storm anymore. The one over Corrigan, this still has a tornado warning on it. That warning's still in effect until, I believe that's 3:30. Yeah, 3:30, and that's going to be out of our area soon as well. And then it's the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, I got to put this in play mode. It's the severe thunderstorm warning down here towards the south end west of Lake Livingston that has a potential to produce some strong damage and wind gusts. Like David said, the yellow box there indicating a severe thunderstorm warning. And listen, take those just as seriously as tornado warnings, right? An 80-mile-per-hour EF0 tornado, you know, that's 80-mile-per-hour winds. You get 60-mile-per-hour winds in a big, giant line of storms. That could actually, at times, do more damage because it covers more area. So it takes more trees down, takes more power lines down. So when you get a big line like this that's starting to develop to the north and west of the city, that's something to take very seriously. Little cell there, we'll keep an eye on this one. You really got to keep an eye on these lone cells that start to produce lightning ahead of that main line. A lot of clear real estate here still down the East Tex Freeway into downtown Montgomery County. You're starting to see an uptick in activity, but again, not a ton of lightning. And Dave, in the past with severe weather events, we've used lightning count as a great indicator, and you can do this at home looking on the KHOU app with radar, or whatever radar app that you might use. You see a big jump in lightning, that should be the key. Hey, there's something going on with this storm.
Yeah, it just basically, I think the easiest way to describe it is when you see a cell suddenly start to produce lightning,
yeah,
it's tapped into all that available energy
right
in the atmosphere, and that's when they can just have explosive development. You can have updrafts that exceed 150 miles an hour, the air going straight up. As it moves up, laws of thermodynamics, it wants to rotate, and you can get tornadic activity with that rapidly rising air. So as Pat mentioned, the only warnings right now here in our northern and northeastern counties, eastern Walker County, northern San Jacinto County, and northern Polk County, the only active tornado warning now officially in our area is this one near Corrigan. So folks in Corrigan, you need to be taking cover, interior room of your home, away from windows, away from exterior walls. That storm, again, racing northeast at about 50 miles an hour. And while I'm here, we'll place a storm track on that so we can just rack this one up, and hopefully we'll see this weaken. It looks like on radar it is weakening a little bit, and we can get this out of here and get that settled down in Polk County. Racing northeast at 50, so folks in the path of that particular storm cell, Damascus Church by 3:20. These are arrival times. Pine Grove Church by 3:29. Gilbert Chapel by 3:35. Bald Hill by 3:36. So again, up in north and eastern Polk County, that's where we have our only active tornado warning officially in the Houston, Southeast Texas warning area. There is another warned storm, though. It's not a tornado warning. It's this. It is a severe thunderstorm warning. And this is what Pat was mentioning. You know, even if you're at Oakhurst, Point Blank, Onalaska, it's not a tornado warning, but these severe thunderstorms in this type of atmosphere can produce very dangerous straight line winds, especially across the open water of Lake Livingston. You could get gusts to 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, and that can do EF0, EF1 type tornado damage under the right circumstances. Elsewhere, zooming out, these are strong thunderstorms, southeast Harris County, but at the moment, as Pat showed you, not showing any rotation, channel view. You're getting the strongest lightning and thunder right now, heaviest rain, but at the moment, not warned. We're keeping an eye on you from Channelview to Mont Bellevue back to Galena Park, keeping a close eye on you guys on the east side. Out west, this is the actual cold front. That line will rock this back and forth. You can see the line moving in from central Texas into our counties now. As it pushes in, the storms are flaring up, but at the moment, they're not producing any more severe weather warnings. Kim Castro, these storms are putting down very heavy rain, rain totals that can cause problems on the roadways all afternoon long.
That's right. We have to watch how these storms move, not just in the horizontal, but in the vertical too. So I'm looking at echo tops now to see how tall these storms have grown. And anywhere that you see the purple here, this signals these thunderstorms are more than 40,000 feet in height. Why is that significant? Well, once we get those particles that are that that high up in the atmosphere, they start to freeze and we get these hail signatures, which we have seen the last couple of hours. So not just heavy downpours, which you notice and you feel and that starts to accumulate and cause issues on the road, but the severe weather threat for today, in addition to the wind, straight line or tornadic rotational wind, will be hail as well. So these signatures over the last few hours show us anywhere between pea-sized hail to marble-sized hail. Now I know Pat and David, you guys have been watching this cell that's pushing into Columbus. Now as it's traveled the I-10 corridor, it has had significant hail signatures, so quarter to golf-sized hail. As it's moving into southeast Texas, into our viewing area, it's starting to lose some steam, but still has hail signatures to keep track of. How much rain have we seen throughout the day? Anywhere that you see the turquoise color, about ½ an inch to an inch of rain. But with those strong cells that we've been keeping a close eye on in Walker, in San Jacinto, Polk County, this stretch of green is 2 to 2.5 inches of rain. So that will cause issues on the roadway as well, in addition to the frequent lightning, the burst of the wind that has us watching these cells for the possibility of tornadic activity. And we just have a new warning that has been issued. And let me have a look. Is that a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning? A new severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued and in effect until 3:30. Is this a new one or is there a new one in a different area?
I think they're just updating that.
They're just updating it. Okay, perfect. So this is an updated area that is warned for the possibility of severe thunderstorm impacts. What does that mean? Wind gusts of potentially 50 to 60 miles an hour. We are also watching for the possibility of pea-sized, even quarter-sized hail. And yes, we cannot let our guard up that some of these storms could have rotational components. So we've got to give you the alert on what to do. We want to make sure we are serving all of our community, so not just folks that live in a house, but how about if you live in an apartment? This is what you need to do. You need to stay away from windows. So same principle, try to go to the interior portion of your building. What you want to do in the best case scenario, if you have enough time, you're watching these storms on radar and your home is just up ahead, you have enough time to get to the lowest floor, go ahead and do that. I know that's sometimes not possible because buildings lose power or you just don't have enough time. You don't want to be moving around if the storm is really close to you. If you don't have enough time, what you want to do is get to an interior stairwell. So we will be watching these warnings popping up and we need to take action immediately. So because of that, I know here in Southeast Texas, a lot of us speak Spanish or we speak Spanglish. We are in a multicultural home. Maybe you understand English better, but maybe your parent understands Spanish better. So I want to make sure that I communicate this information with them as well. Tenemos unas tormentas que tienen bastante energía. Estamos viendo unos avisos por tornados y también avisos por tormentas severas. Lo que significa es que tendremos unos vientos con bastante impacto de ráfagas de 50, 60 hasta 70 millas por hora. Podremos ver que algunas de esas tormentas también nos dan señales de rotación. Específicamente en estos lados, Seven Oaks y Corrigan tienen un aviso por un tornado ahorita mismo. Y eso significa que tiene que tomar acción. Si es que vive en estos lugares, diga Seven Oaks, Corrigan o Rockland, tiene que tratar de irse al lado más bajo de su hogar y en un espacio más central. Eso significa encuentre un closet, encuentre un baño, no esté en el alrededor de su casa con esas ventanas o con esas paredes exteriores, porque puede ver que esas ventanas se rompen y vemos unos pedazos de sillas o cosas que tiene en su alrededor de su casa, pueden infiltrar a su casa, romper esas ventanas y herirle. Entonces, por favor, trate de ponerse en el lado más central de su hogar. Si es que vive en un apartamento, la misma cosa. Vaya al lugar más central de su hogar, trate de irse al piso más bajo. Si es que no puede, váyase a las gradas de su apartamento. Tenemos ese aviso por una tormenta severa en Oakhurst, en Onalaska. Eso significa que podrá haber esos impactos del viento, quizás podrá haber granizo y ahorita estamos viendo unas señales de viento de 30 y 40 millas por hora. I want to go ahead and take it back to the English side now, give you an update on the tornado warning and the new area that's had this severe thunderstorm warning expanded and reissued, Div.
Indeed, the line of storms now pushing in from the west. Have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for another 10 minutes for northern Polk and northern San Jacinto and eastern Walker County. And as these tornadic cells now exit to the north and east, our attention is now going to turn to the line of storms entering in from the west. And I'm just setting up so we can put a track on this. Now, this is the line of storms I'm referring to right here. That line is going to be racing to the east. That's moving into the Houston area at about 35 miles an hour. So along that line of storms, everybody gets rain and thunder, reaching Columbus right about now. This system reaches Panorama Village by 4:06, Conroe by 4:18, Houston by 5:36. So between now and 5:30, that line pushes in and across our western counties into downtown. So if you have loved ones, you have family, so much activity is going on right now with school letting out, afternoon activities. There's going to be some very treacherous driving conditions across our north and west counties between now and 5:30 until that line reaches downtown. And then after that, it's going to race into our southeast county in Galveston by about 6:30. So that's the leading edge of the line of thunderstorms that is pushing in right now from the west. I'll put this in motion for you so you can see it moving in. Again, our actively warned cells in our northeast counties have now exited our county warning area. The line of storms racing in from the east has heavy rain and thunder. We're going to continue to monitor this situation very carefully. If we get another tornado warning, we will break in to programming here and online and on all our social platforms. So no matter where you are, stay close to KHOU and 11 weather this afternoon. Stay close to the forecast with us. We'll help keep you and your family safe. Our live update, of course, we have our full programming at 4 o'clock on KHOU 11 News at 4 o'clock. If we get a tornado warning before then, we'll break in here and let you know about it. So just stay put right where you are and we'll keep you safe.
And the
I
next
also have
day
a
on
podcast.
Peacock. I know, and let's talk about your podcast, because you guys, you can watch or listen to his podcast with his daughter. Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast. You see, Howie, we follow everything you do.
We're on it, brother.
We are on it. Love you.
Amazing.
Mazel.
Come back soon.
Good luck, buddy.
Good to see you.
Bye.